right, guys, this is Crazy Kevin here, and I'm here with UFC fighter Gabe Green. Gabe, how we doing?
And I'm good, man. I wish I was fighting next week. Besides that, it's all good.
Yeah, man, that's what I was just about to ask. Talk to us a little bit about that fight cancellation and what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, we're just training hard, pushing myself, and then it just got injured during nothing crazy happened. I was just coming up on top, and my body just kind of quit on me, and now I'm gonna be out for a second. But I mean, hopefully I can get one in before the year's over. I'd really like to get one in before the year's over, but it'd probably be the tail end of the year.
Now, what exactly is the injury? Are you able to disclose what exactly is going on?
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about the extent of everything, but I really wish I could fight with it, but I can't.
Absolutely. No, 100%. I hear you there. Now, you've had a lot of adversity in your career. You've had a couple tough matchups in the UFC. How do you think you're mentally strong coming into your future fight?
No, yeah. I mean, I am very mentally tough, adversity doesn't really bother me. It is what it is. Especially I just lean on my faith. I don't even lean on my own strength, right? I'm super religious, super Christian, so I know that at the end of the day, and I just pray for God's will to be done, and that's all I'm really worried about.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear you there. And you've been a part of a couple big cards, and one of the big cards you were a part of was UFC was actually on ABC. Talk to us a little bit about if that meant anything to you.
I mean, it was cool, man. I think I was on two cards that were on the ABC. Actually, yeah. Man, it's really cool to see the sport that I participate in becoming more and more, mainstream. Because that's if you're watching public TV, you're usually watching a football game or a baseball game, basketball game. So to say MMA in that kind of realm and that light is pretty awesome. I'm really looking forward to how the sport's growing. It's cool because we as MMA fighters, regardless of what level we're competing at, are training our butts off, man. And in the UFC, we get paid way more than what guys do on the local circuit, and I'll be honest, man, the amount of training that I've been doing is that I do in the UFC is the same amount of training I was doing when I was on the local circuit. It's just now I get paid a little bit more. So hopefully, as the sport grows more and more, every fighter gets paid a little bit more because, my first pro fight, I made $800, and I put in a lot more work than what is worth for $800.
Yeah, no, I definitely believe it there. I mean, yeah, $800 for what you guys do is just insane to think about. Another thing I think you were a part of, like you mentioned, the sport is just growing and growing. I believe you're also a part of International Fight Week and being a part of that. Talk to us a little bit about being a part of that.
Yeah, same thing. It's super cool. It's fun to interact with fans and stuff like that in the first place. So to see... Yeah, I mean, that's just the UFC to see how big their fans are out there, how much they look up to us, and they're really entertained. It's really cool to see that we mean that much to people. It's oh man, we actually thanks for the support. It's a great feeling to have for sure.
Now, you were definitely in a crazy fight the last time out there, but it was really short with Bryan Battle. Was that actually the game plan the whole time, or was the crowd just pumping you up and you just had to just go for it right away?
Well, the thing with Bryan Battle is, me, every time I fight at 170, right, it's everyone's way taller than me. It's not like I can be in and out. I got to be in or I got to be out. And then Bryan Battle in particular, from all the film I watched, he wasn't super great in the pocket. And then before I got caught, he wasn't doing a lot. And I think I threw 11 shots to his 3, and nothing landed until something landed, So I wasn't worried about being in the pocket with him whatsoever. I actually would prefer to be in the pocket with him versus outside because he's so much stronger than me, and he was so comfortable with. That's where he likes to be. He likes to be on the outside, being a bigger dude. Because I mean, he was fighting at 185, so he's used to coming down to 170. He's pretty much, like the bigger guy. Especially me, considering I'm someone who should be fighting at 55. Just wasn't like doing anything. I showed up fight week at like 72 or 73. So yeah, I mean, it was unfortunate that I got caught, but the funny thing is, like, before that shot landed, I like saw like a neon flashing sign. Like, I feinted with my left hand and I went to throw the right hook, and his right hook landed, but his chin was so open, his eyes were closed, and he was like this, and I was like, oh, there's your chin, I'm gonna crack you. And then I opened my eyes and the ref was like banned on me, and I was like, oh, that mother sucker, he landed first. And I felt maybe almost too confident for standing in front of him because like everything was kind of like hitting my shoulders and stuff, and I was touching him, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna put some spunk on this one. And then his chin wide open, and I was like, oh, here it is, like, nice. And then just boop, he landed first. So it is what it is.
Now, when you have a matchup like that, when it just like ends so quick, would you have rather like went like a couple more rounds and kind of like lost like that, or like with it just being over so quick, it's like, all right, now I can just move right along a little bit easier since it just was over so fast?
Nah, you'd always like, don't get me wrong, like just kind of smashing through someone's cool, and you're like, all right, let me get my paycheck. Like, I'm sure it was great for him, but if you're on the losing end, you definitely don't want to get caught. And then, like, that's it. You want to go out there. Because, like I said, we train a lot. We work our butts off. We're in the gym all day across the board, like all fighters, right, getting ready for the fight. So then when you do all that stuff and then you don't get to show any of the stuff you've been working on because you just get caught, it's pretty, it leaves a pretty bitter, taste in your mouth where you're just like, wow, well, that sucks, but nothing you can do about the past, it's the past. Looking back at it just going to make you crash, right? So you just go on from there.
Yeah, no, 100%. And since that last performance, how do you think you were growing as a fighter, getting ready for your next matchup?
I think that you didn't get to see it, but the difference between the me that I was when I fought Gary and the me that I was when I fought Bryan Battle were dramatically different levels. Like, I just got caught and I wasn't able to show anything. And then even then, I've gotten so much better since I fought Battle. And I was going to put that on display when I fought, I was going to fight Yontop next weekend. But, yeah, man, I've gotten a lot better. And hopefully, like I said, by the end of this year, you guys will be able to see.
Yeah, no, 100%. And speaking of that Ian Gary matchup that you had, how are you able to deal with a guy that like Ian Gary that's constantly like trying to play the mind games as well as also having like top-notch skill?
Mind games, I don't know. Like we were saying earlier, I'm pretty mentally strong and resilient and stuff, so I don't think mind games. Especially like my family. Growing up, my family, in order to kind of be around and just kind of survive, you have to have thick skin in the first place. So, ain't nothing nobody gonna say to me to get me all, twisted. I'm like, man, shut up. I don't even get the point of talking a bunch of trash in the first place because regardless of whatever you say, we're gonna fight anyways. I think a lot of guys are just like. I feel like they feel like they have to do it, so then it even comes across like ungenuine. I think that if you're a trash talker, go ahead and be a trash talker, but don't force the trash talk because you're trying to sell something. Just be yourselves. If you're nice, be nice. If you're an a-hole, be an a-hole. Work on that, on the side. But if that's who you are at the moment, just be yourself. And I think that's what people need to do. So. Yeah, I mean, but Gary, he is a pretty talented martial artist. And I mean, honestly, even with me being, fighting at 170, but being technically undersized, I think I gave him his toughest fight in the UFC so far.
Yeah, no, and I definitely agree with you there. I definitely think you did give him his toughest fight. And one thing that I thought was interesting about you, I was watching a quick documentary that you have out there on YouTube, and you mentioned that you started MMA when you were 21, around 21, 22 years old. Talk to us about that journey starting that late in your career.
Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, I was in college already. One of my friends from high school started training, and he asked me if I wanted to go train, and I had just finished rehabbing a shoulder surgery it was like messed up from football, and then I really messed it up after playing football. So I like just got it back to being good again. And I know he wrestled in high school. I didn't, right? And he said, like, well, let's go train MMA. I'm training at this MMA gym. And then I was like, man, I'm not trying to get picked up and slammed on my shoulder. I just got it fixed. And he was like, oh, well, don't get taken down. I'm like, yeah, it's easy for you to say. You can wrestle. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing out there. But he eventually just showed up at my house and, like, knocked on my door. And he's like, let's go to practice. And I was like, all right, you know. And, yeah, man, from the moment I stepped in there, I loved it so much. I really wish I did some kind of training beforehand, but yeah, I think I have kind of because I started so late. Yeah, I think I was turning 22 when I like really started training, and yeah, I feel like I'm so behind everybody else. You know, like where most of the guys I've been. Even right, like in the UFC, most of the guys I fight against have been guys that've been training at some type of martial arts since they were like 5, 6, you know. Yeah, you know, I feel like God put me there for a reason, anyways. So I'm able to compete with them. I'm able to beat some of them. I think as of this point in my life, I could beat a lot of them. You know, especially like as of late, man. I'm really bummed I wasn't able to show my skills in this fight because I think especially at 55 where I'm fighting guys that are actually my size, you know, it's everyone's going to get to see an extra level of my skills that they almost weren't able to see before because I have to fight a certain way being so much smaller than everybody else, you know. I'm 5'10", and everyone else is like 6'2" or taller, you know, and then I got a 73-inch reach, and most of the guys I fight have like 77 or more. So at welterweight, you know, so to fight, and if you look at the size of most lightweights, they're all around my height with my reach. So it just makes the game that I can play. There's just so much more I can do because now I'm not the guy who's tiny and has to just like get inside, you know. So whenever I do get to fight, you guys get to see a much more dynamic team.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to that, Gabe. And, you know, speaking of your fighting career so far, who do you think, like maybe coaching-wise or maybe even fighter, that might have gave you the best advice so far in your fighting career?
I think the best thing was my head coach, Tracy, and almost like all the older heads from Sub Fighter when I first started training there. Immediately they like every single one of them. I don't even know if they talked to each other, but they all kind of took me to the side in the first couple months of training, and they said, "I don't tell this to everybody. I hardly tell this to anybody actually, but keep doing this. Like you can even like focus on fighting. Like I wouldn't recommend this to most people, but you focus on fighting, and you'll end up in the UFC one day." And then they added, just stay far away from girls. And then my coach, Tracy, my head coach, was like, unless you find like a really, really good one. And, but you know, like be very wary of that and make sure that one is a real good one, like a really, really, really good one. And, I did that for the most part, you know, I stood far away from all the girls while I was training. I was able to keep my head on right. And then, I found my wife who was like, the best one ever. So, I think that was the best advice, to make sure that I wasn't running around unfocused.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's very important, and that's definitely some good advice. One question I always like to ask to every fighter that I bring on the show is, I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I've been training for 20 years, and I've been teaching for 6 years, and I just love what I do. And with that being said, with all the guys that I have in my gym, What advice would you have for those guys to keep coming into the gym every single day to keep on getting better and better?
If it's like just to keep on getting better, like nothing to do with competing, I would just, cause like for me, I went through a part of my life where I was sick and I was homeschooled because I was too sick to go to school from like 6th through like 11th grade, and in that time I was like in and out of hospitals, and I was in the bed, and I couldn't use my body correctly, and besides just learning how to fight, being a healthy individual and teaching your body to move correctly and just using it and not taking a body that works for granted is one of the greatest things you'll ever do. So I think that just, reminding your kids like, hey man, you got a good body, use it, man. Use it, and then and just keep getting better. I think that's something great to tell them. And then if they want to get into competitions or something, I would just remind them that make sure that they're having fun and that they love it above everything else, because like we already mentioned, fighters don't necessarily get paid the most. So the only way it's going to be worth it is if you love it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I definitely think you have to love it, and I definitely think you have to do 100% like you were saying. I definitely appreciate that message. One other thing I was curious about as well, too, you mentioned you want to try and get back in there towards the end of the year. Do you have any sort of dream arenas you're looking for towards the end of the year?
Man, I'd love to fight in California again. I don't know if we're going to be back this year, but I haven't fought in California since before I was in the UFC back in like 2018, and yeah, man, I fought at the Forum and I fought at the Honda Center. So like a dream place to fight would be like Staple or Crypto now. Fight there would be, because I hit like the big three of SoCal. That'd be on my dream list for sure. I don't know if that's gonna happen necessarily, but also the Sphere, man. That Sphere in Vegas that'd be pretty sick.
Oh yeah, the Sphere would definitely be sick, man. That'd be a lot of fun. You can get on that card. Gabe, last message out there to the fans that are going to be watching this video.
Yeah. I should have like all these things like written down, because everyone's like last messages. Say, where should I go with this? Just, go out there, guys. Live your dream. Don't be stuck trying to live someone else's dreams. And, just give Jesus a shot in your life, man, because if you don't know where to go, he's going to always point you in the right path.
I love it. Great message, Gabe. And Gabe, we're looking forward to what's next with you, my man. And thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Oh, man, thank you so much for having me, man. Usually after someone gets injured, they're like, we'll just catch you when you're good. Like, well, I'll catch you at the next fight. So, yeah, man, thanks for not throwing me to the side when my fight didn't go through.
No, man, no worries at all. Like I said, it's a pleasure to talk to you guys, and I was definitely looking forward to meeting you, because I just remember, watching your past couple of fights. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, and especially with, the fight news and everything. So, again, thank you, and I really appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, man. Appreciate you. God bless.
My man. One last thing. I love the hoodie, man.
I appreciate it. I actually got my matching one with the girl one. Our anniversary is June 26th, so
nice.
626, and he's Experiment 626, and so it's like our Stitch Day instead of our anniversary day. It's this whole thing that we got going on.
I love it.
It's all cute and stuff, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah, man. No worries. All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you again.
All right, man.
All right, take care.